Well, hey all, and welcome back. And today I am going to go over my new and old Mugenbine. As many of you may remember, or at least most of you, because it's some of my most viewed videos, I used to do Mugenbine builds. And if you're not familiar with Mugenbine, they're a cool toy in Japan that is derived from GoBots, which over there is called Machine Robo. It is a continuation of this series, which we didn't get here, but they're cool bots with lots of parts on them that allow you to mix and match and make vehicles and animals and robots. That being said, I'm going to show you what I've got so far, and then we can use this as a way to launch into future builds. So right before us are the Candy series. They're very similar to a normal Mugenroid, but they're a little bit more hollow and they lack a little bit of the shoulder functionality. However, they still are compatible and they work good as filler pieces. And in the Candy line, I have a few other of these bots and pieces. And some of these pieces are actually simplified versions of normal Mugenbine figures, which you will actually see some of the other ones I have. And then here, I've just got a couple spare parts that have nowhere to go, but I'm sure I'll find a place to stick them as I make these builds. So let's go ahead and move on to more of these. Another way I've gotten a hold of so many is I would buy lots. And a lot of times lots just come with pieces, sometimes full sets, sometimes broken sets. But I want as many pieces as I could so I could make the biggest creations. So as you can see here, we've got this one, which is actually mostly complete, but we are missing one of the pieces that's similar to this to extend his tail. Most people wouldn't know, but that is just one thing of note. This one is a hodgepodge. I have most of the pieces for the blue set, but I don't have an extra Mugenroid, but I do have an extra Turboroid, which is a version with wheels on it. So this is just some sort of weird thing I threw together to store those pieces. Same with this. These are spares I have of this one. However, I didn't have the rest of it, as well as the Mugenroid for it, and I had an extra Turboroid. So we have another weird creation here. And then once again, we have actually all the pieces for the set, but I don't have an additional Mugenroid. So I took this one here, which is actually meant for this one, but since I have all the pieces, I just mixed and matched to make a new kind of jet. But all these pieces will come into play once we start building something big. But as you'll see, every now and then there'll be flaws with some of these, like this one has kind of a broken foot. But as we build the creations, and I do a little bit of modification, that doesn't play as much of an issue in this. And as you'll notice, I actually have multiples of same designs because it's really helpful when you're trying to build a large symmetrical robot. You saw this armor on the orange one previously, but I have two full sets of this one and the two different modes. This is actually one of my latest ones. It is sort of a red version of that one with a different head, but I ended up getting two of the left leg. So that could pose a problem unless I can somehow locate another one that has two of left legs or whatever. But I can still use the bulk of it for my creations. These here are all kind of cousins. They share a lot of the same parts. There's different colors, and these two have cannons. Now, while this one I'd gotten was missing a horn, you saw that set of parts I had that was similar to this one. I used its horn on here, so that sort of makes these complete sets, just slightly different. And then I also have these two complete versions. So that adds a little bit of variety right there. And continue along with these smaller letter series. Again, I have multiples of the same ones. This is Power Noser here. And the only thing that stands out is that this one has changed from probably sun damage, but it will still work for its purpose. Got a couple of these. The Scarab sets are actually pretty cool and useful for a lot of things. And I have a couple of these. The only thing about this one is arms broke off on this one, but I do believe I'm going to be able to fix it. So I'm going to try to glue it. The worst case scenario, I can scavenge parts off another one or use a different Mugenroid. Now here are some sets I have singles of, but I do wish I had doubles of, but there's still enough parts here to make some cool creations. This dragon here, we have a Kong here, we have Carry Eagle, which as a vehicle mode, I always just enjoyed the wheels and everything about this. We have the Rhino train, and we have a shuttle here. Here I have a triple set of the base series. So these come with little Turboroids as well as vehicles. What's great about these is these boxes are great for filling out space when you're trying to make giant creations. So for the most part, these two are complete, but this one's lacking the back legs. Not a big deal, but it's just something to have in mind depending on how I'm going to do this. But I really just needed these for the boxes and sort of the pieces just to sort of fill it out. And these are in the same vein. They have a couple toroids on the top of them. They've got mugenroids on the back, and then we have these cool pieces here, and these boxes are filling out. So I can use these for torsos or arms or legs to really add mass to there. Another thing that's pretty cool is that this set has this head underneath here that helps for making larger bots. So some of these have different scaled heads and different configurations. These actually could even act as pinchers or claws, just the way they're designed, if I was to make a giant robot. And now we're really starting to get into the bigger sets. So I actually done a review on this one before. And what's cool is these have a lot of clear parts. However, I'm a little bit weary of using clear parts because they tend to be a little bit more on the brittle side. And this is another great set I have used for builds in the past. Has a cool little block in here that helps for filling stuff out. Probably a set I should have gotten a couple of just because these blocks would be pretty useful for making arms and whatnot. And then over here, another couple big bots. This one has some compatible sets to make some cool big robots, but itself is just full of really great parts and wheels and whatnot. And this is actually the latest one I've gotten, and possibly one of the most versatile ones because it has like several heads that come with it. So that alone gives me a lot of cool options for making large robots. And I actually have a couple sets here I've never even opened. So if there's enough people that want reviews of these, I can do some reviews of these before we can start building. And to come to the final ones, I actually forgot to mention this one on my singles. This is one of the first ones I've ever gotten. These other ones here are ones that I had bought as box sets new, and I bought 2 of while they were still available because I wanted my symmetrical robots. So we've got our Tyrannos here, which are pretty cool. Then we have our Power Noser, which I believe I did a review of in that one. And, actually, sorry, not Power Noser, Heavy Mammoth. Get my elephants confused. And then back here, we have another elephant. I think it's going to be really good for making arms, but we'll explore that as I start building these. I have a slight interruption because since I've shot this video, I've gotten a few more Mugenbine. I have a second Kong here, a second Carry Eagle, so that gives me 2 of each. And then I've got my first Kaiser Condor. And while it looks like a very similar to the Carry Eagle, there's a few differences that I really appreciate. And that would be in the back here and this bucket. But I really like how this is different. So anyway, back to the rest of the collection. And here they are all together. And as you can see, it is a lot to deal with. But I'm going to start constructing some ideas, and then we can start doing videos. So why don't you leave a comment below if you collect Mugenbine, your favorite sets, and make sure you like and subscribe for future builds. But like always, we'll see you all next time.